Okay, so just a small background about where the SCT exams started. So it was established back in 1999 and was launched by Micheál O'Hine. Now, Micheál O'Hine was a great stalwart of Comhaltas, and he also was an inspectorate with the Department of Education at that time. So he also um, put together the TTCT, our teaching diploma course that we have as well, which he started in 1980. He was a great visionary for this, and always knew that there was that need to have these kind of graded exams, because a lot of the stuff that we do in Comhaltas can be very much performance based or competition, but it's important to always think about it's not just about playing tunes, it's also about learning the history of the tunes, where the tunes have come from, people who have played before us. And then again, also looking at, developing your ear, looking at sight reading, notation. So to make that that musician, that well-rounded musician that we're always talking about, that, and us as teachers, it's so important for us to give those skills to our students. And I find this exam, this syllabus, keeps me in check as a teacher as well. So to make sure that, have I covered what they need to know at their stage of development? Do they know about the 1920s musicians who played tunes and passed music over to recorded in, America, and brought them over? And do they know the background to an actual jig? Where did the jig originate? Those kind of questions that students could be looking at. So Micheál, with many others at the helm as well, developed this syllabus. And the syllabus was actually only changed, and not a lot of changes, which stands to the work that they put in 2016. And then there was a new syllabus then last year that was brought into. So we have about 75,000 exams that have been completed up until this year. And again, like I said, it's an important learning support for teachers and students. And even when you're looking at the repertoire lists and saying, okay, do they have the type of tunes? Have they got an air? Do they know a piece of harp music? Do they know a polka and a slide? Because we can always, and even looking at set dances and barn dances, because we always tend to kind of go very heavy in with, your jigs and reels. So again, it's just making sure we have everything covered. And like I said, that well-rounded musician is what we're kind of looking for. Okay, so the syllabus itself, so this is the syllabus of 2024. So again, I'm just going to be kind of doing a little bit of comparison with the London College of Music. So our SCT exams, we have 12 exams. So we have 3 elementaries, 1, 2, and 3. And then we have your standard grade 1 to 8, and we also have a performance diploma as well. And of course, we have our TTCT teaching diploma. Now, the teaching diploma is a residential week-long course that is held in Dublin, in head office in Dublin. But obviously, around the exam syllabuses, you have your elementaries 1 to 3 and grade 1 to 8. So again, you can see there with the London College of Music, their version of elementary is its step is their first name for their grade, and then they have their grade 1 to 8, and they also have 4 different performance diplomas as well. Okay, so one thing, and again, it's always something, even because I sit on the Ard Comhairle of Comhaltas as well, and it's always something nationally that we try to do, is to be, whenever we're thinking of money and we're trying to keep things as competitive as possible, and again, the changing of and the increase of fees has only literally there's been a €5 increase this year, and that hasn't happened for about 10 years. And this will be very firmly stuck for a good while as well. So you can see the difference there between your SCTs. So your elementaries 1, 2, and 3 are €30, where the London College of Music start at £44. And then you can see straight on. So we go from 35 and ranging right up to our diploma, which is 100. And then you can see the London College of Music, which is starting your grade 1, which is £51, going right up to grade 8, which is £110. And again, of course, with the exchange rate, and that obviously the euro is a little bit be cheaper for yourselves as well. But again, I think it's important, and that we do have, you know, to be able to set that competitiveness between London College of Music. Okay, so the marking systems. So we did change, the marking systems had to change this year. The pass rate used to be 40, and we did have four bands before. So you would have had 40 for your pass, and then it would have been then you had a merit, you had an honors band, and you had a distinction band. But whenever we were getting our accreditation for these exams, there's a standard accreditation that Ofqual set. So and that's why it changed. So our performance, the pass mark now is up to 60. And then your distinction, you've got a merit then, and then your distinction is from 87 upwards. So that has changed a little bit. But whenever you break down, there's 3 separate sections within each exam. So you have your performance is first. And you can see there, out of 100, 60 marks is for performance, which obviously is a huge part. And that's what it is. There are performance exams. And then you have 20 marks for repertoire and oral skills. So those oral skills are like doing some at elementary 1 and 2, a little bit of clapping. You will have to identify tune types whenever and somebody plays them for you. And you have to repeat little phrases. And we all know whenever we teach by ear, and that is training the students to be able to do those oral tests. So the examiner will play like 2 bars of a small 2-bar phrase, and then that would have to be repeated back when it's played. So that's kind of the oral skills. And then you have theory and musical knowledge. So theory is just, again, from elementary 1s and 2s, it's more about just asking, you know, what do you like about your music? What happens in your music class? Just little questions like that. And it obviously grows throughout, where you talk about local musicians, you talk about musicians from the 1920s, you know, maybe comparing, listening to a jig or a reel, and to be able to talk about that jig or reel that's being played, those type of theory questions. And then the musical knowledge is down to, again, small bit of sight reading. And again, whenever you start at elementaries, you're only looking at low D, high D, and then you add 2 notes at a time for each exam. And I know a lot of people, obviously traditional music is an oral tradition, but I think it's so important to have that skill to be able to sight read the tunes, even just to know the notes, because we all know the manuscripts and collections and the newly composed tunes which are being published are all written in staff notation. So I think it's a huge skill for a student to be able to, because again, that's what you're building for. You won't have the students for their entire development. They will be moving on and developing their own skills. So to be able to do that, I think is hugely important. So that's the breakdown of the marking system. So 60 performance, 20 repertoire oral skills, and 20 for theory and musical knowledge. Okay, so looking at the performance diploma, now the diploma is very different. It's just performance, and you have to put together just like a kind of notes on what you're actually playing. So it's 40-minute to 45-minute performance. And what we're looking at in that performance is interpretation of the tunes. And again, anybody wanting to do the diploma needs to have a distinction in the performance in grade 8 to be able to do that. And then, so the interpretation is how they play the tune, how they would ornamentate it, how they would put in variations, and then obviously technical skills come into it as well for 35 marks. Then the choice of program, which is important too, so that when you're looking at your 40-minute program, you might have maybe 9 or 10 sets there. You're not going to play 5 sets of reels and 5 sets of jigs. So it's to look at the program choice, which is important. And then the stage presence is just about you're introducing your tunes and you're just telling you the knowledge of what you have from the tunes. So that's a very kind of specialized exam. And but if a student has been going through their SCTs and have finished their grade 8 and may have a little bit of performance knowledge themselves. And experience is always the best thing there. I always say if anybody who wants to do this exam, play a few tunes at a concert here or there, just get used to that kind of element of performance. Okay. So we're just going to look at the repertoire list and the actual amount of tunes that you have to play. So elementary 1, everybody just plays one tune and they can pick whatever tune that is themselves. One tune, and then their repertoire list, they have to have another tune. And they will be asked to play small phrases. They won't need to play the whole tune, but it's always preferable, obviously, if they do have it. So that's your elementary 1 with one performance tune and one repertoire tune. And then in elementary 2, you're going up to 2 tunes. And then you have 2 tunes for your repertoire list. So you're going from 2 tunes, elementary 1, to 4 tunes, elementary 2. And then this is where the London College comes in. This is where their first exam starts. So you can see there they have 4 performance tunes, where we have 2 performance tunes and 5 repertoire tunes. Now, they won't be asked to play all of those repertoire tunes. They'll only be asked to play one of them. And again, it's phrases of that. And you can see that it is a gentle step kind of moving forward from one exam to the next. And of course, they can keep whatever tunes they've learned in elementary 1, they can keep on their repertoire. And they could possibly play the same tune as a performance tune as well the following year. And then you move into grade 1. So you have 3 performance tunes and 10 repertoire tunes. And then we have here for London College, they have 3 performance tunes and 3 repertoire tunes. Now you do see that there is a difference, obviously, within the repertoire tunes for ourselves. But again, and you all know as teachers, like we're starting this from elementary 1 and you're building the bricks as you're going along. And for a grade 1 student who has been ideally playing for maybe 2 or 3 years, possibly at this stage, should definitely have 10 tunes. And they're even simple tunes. They can be airs like Níl na lá and, Kerry Polka, things like that, so it's definitely doable. And then you move into your grade 1, which again, so your repertoire will build from 5 onwards. And you know yourself, they would always be building 5 tunes a year, within repertoire. So you've got grade 2, which is 3 and 15, which is 3 and 5 in London College of Music. And again, it shows like having these extra tunes. And again, as teachers, we always want to make sure that our students have all the foundations and the building blocks of the tunes and the repertoire that they need. You know yourself, as they blossom themselves and they move into sessions and they're wanting to play with other people and play in performances, that it's important to keep that repertoire going, and kind of that learning is really important. So then you see your grade 3. So performance is 4 and then repertoire 20. And then we move right up, you'll see, so grade 8. So you have 14 tunes that you actually play in the performance. And then you have 65 in your repertoire. And I know people look and go, oh my God, 65, but it's actually not a lot of tunes. Like all of us probably don't even realize we've thousands of tunes in our head, and somebody who started their musical journey and who gets to a grade 8 where you're talking about maybe 14, 15 years of age, 16 years of age, and have been learning music for maybe 8 years, have gone through their exams, 65 tunes is not a lot. Absolutely not. And again, we always feel that why we're, having those increase in the repertoire tunes, again, it's important for that musician and that core repertoire tunes is important. Okay, so you can just see the areas then that are covered. So again, in London College of Music, they have oral skills like we do. So it's the same thing. We do clapping, we do identifying tune types. Now, London College of Music would ask you to identify different instruments, where we look more kind of into intervals. Like it's just, say, from a D to an E or a D to an F, and you do small intervals the further you go in the exam. And then you've got the playback from memory, which is the same for both. It starts in grade 2 for LCM and starts in grade 1 here. And then in the London College of Music, they ask you to add a melodic variation in grade 6. We start to identify modes in grade 6, and we all know like the mode, and all of this information, especially here around oral skills, the marks are so small, because you have 20 marks to cover all of that oral skills and the repertoire. But modes is definitely important, at least to have a general understanding of them, because traditional music is based on a modal system. So it's important that they have a small understanding of it. And again, it's not too complicated. It's literally playing a modal scale and identifying a tune. That's pretty much all there is. And then in the supplementary tests, where we call it theory and musical knowledge. So it's the same thing, we're knowledge of instruments, and then general discussions about musicians. We look at local, past musicians, present musicians. We look at we ask them to be able to do some regional styles. And again, that's way up in grade 6, 7, and 8. And contrasting tunes and looking at tune types. And then we have a bit of sight reading. We have some scales just to be able to identify a time signature and a key signature. So, and then you can see musicians and groups and time signatures is there as well for the London College of Music. So it's quite similar. It's quite similar in what we do. We probably just maybe dive a little bit more into the history of the music, and again looking at the modal scales as well. Okay, so now in grade 6, 7, and 8, there is a written submission that we ask these students to do. And again, it's again what we are always looking for, like I keep saying, is that well-rounded musician. So somebody that will look into, so the first for grade 8, 500 words on a review of an album in the candidate's own instrument featured. So we're just literally, it's just letting them start to listen a bit more to music and to analyze a bit more to music, which is really important. Again, as teachers, we're always analyzing our own teaching skills, and we're always analyzing how our students are playing and what more can we do for our students, how can we transmit, our own skills over. So this is a little step for them to start to analyze a little bit, for them to listen to music and get them to figure what is happening here, what instruments are there, and what they like about it, and just to give a general review of what's happening. So I think that is important in a musician's life as well. And then in grade 7, we asked for just 750 words, which again is it's a small amount. It's only 2 pages. Again, for an analysis of 2 different musicians. So you're looking at somebody who played music before the 1960s to somebody who has played music after 1960. So again, it's that analysis part of it, and to be able to listen to the different eras and different styles and kind of try to figure out what they're doing, and trying for them to get their words on it and what they listen to, which is important. And then the grade 8 then is 1,000 words on a live concert review. So we get them to sit in and what works for that concert? What since they walked through the front door, was there anything that they thought could be done better, could produce better? If the sound was good, if the lighting was good, was the audience engaged throughout all of the concert, and how that person felt in the concert, So again, it's all those little skills which are important when you're developing your music. Okay, so the accreditation. So we now have UCAS accreditation. So we partnered with a group called MTB, the Music Teachers Board. So they are an Ofqual regulated awarding body. And they offer qualifications of both practical and performance grades. So they launched in 2019. So they'll have over 2,000 exam centres across 50 different countries. So they have done a huge amount of work in a small amount of time. Now, the majority of their exams are online. where we also have face-to-face exams here, but we're able to use the technology that they have to be able to have those online exams. And it was a great way forward for us. So we have the Ofqual accreditation. Our online exams are available. So you can see the UCAS points. So they're eligible for your grades 6 to 8. And it's the same as the London College of Music. So 6 to 8 are now eligible for UCAS points. So UCAS tariff points translate qualifications and grades into numerical value. This numerical value is used by higher education course providers in the UK as part of satisfying entry requirements for a popular course. So that's basically the universities would take those accredited exams, grades 6, 7, and 8, and they give points that they can add to your A levels or whatever other exams that you're doing to get into third level college. So just to give you an idea, so of the actual points, so you can see there, so the SCT, so we have for distinction, you get 12 points, for merit, you get 10, and then for pass, you have 8. Now it's a small little bit different than the London College of Music. They have 12, 10, and 6. So we have 2 extra points for the pass grade in grade 6. Then grade 7, their distinction is 16, merit is 14, pass is 12. And again, you can see that's a little different than for the grade 7. So 16 and 16, and they have 12 for the merit, where we have 14, and then 10 for where we have 12. And then it's the same for grade 8. So we have distinction, which is 30, merit 24, and pass is 18, and that is the same for the London College of Music. Now, just to give you a little bit of a perspective of seeing how that actually translates for some of the exam systems in Britain and Scotland. So you have your AS exams. So you have an A in your AS is 20 UCAS points. So if you think back, and a B in AS is 16, and a C is 12, and D is 10. So you can, and just pop back so you can see there from your grade 6s and your grade 7s, say you have your 16 point for distinction, that's exactly the same as a B in AS exam. And if you look over at the A level, so it is, so say your distinction in grade 8 is a 30. So you're in between your C and D here for your actual A level. So it gives you an idea of how high in the ratings of the marks that the points can actually go up to. And then when you're looking at Scotland, so again, you can see the similarities. So you've got, say, you've got your grade 8, which is 30 again, which is looking up here at your Scottish Highers as well. So you can see how it translates over to the different systems. Now, again, I wouldn't be as familiar with the Scottish Highers and Scottish Advanced Highers. You might be able to even help me out there. But again, it's just to give you an idea of where those points are kind of based and how valuable those points are. I'm not sure if we've anybody in from Wales, but that's just the breakdown as well of the different systems that is in Wales as well. So that gives you kind of an idea. So that's me coming to the end of this section. So again, so any queries or anything, just give me an email, magella@cotas.ie. So, and the admin questions and the admin side of it is all at SCT at cotas.ie. And we also have our director as well, who for which is Oisin McDermott. You can get him there, and like the syllabus and all the resources, there's different resources and stuff available on the COTAS website as well. So hopefully that has been a little bit informative for you. Again, open to any questions whatsoever.
I've one quick question, Magella.
Yes.
So, hello, how you doing? You're keeping
How you
well?
doing? Not too bad. How are you?
Good, I'm fine, thanks. So with the grades, are they age related?
No,
Like,
no,
could you be
no.
a senior and do grade one?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no age at all.
Okay. And then the final quick question, just reading the what was it, the live concert review.
Yes.
I'm assuming it has to be Irish traditional music, but it doesn't say that. So can it be anything?
No, it needs to be Irish traditional music.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to
Yes.
clarify. Cheers.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's it. No bother.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Just about the oral section of the grade six. You mentioned the requirement to add a small variation. Would that be on an ad hoc basis from the part that they'd learned orally, or would it be something that they could practice for and rehearse?
Now, actually, the addition of the variation is part of the London College of Music's exam. We don't have that in ours at all.
Oh, I
So,
see. Right.
yeah,
Okay. Sorry, I've
not at all, not at
misunderstood
all.
that.
I
Yeah.
I know there was a
Okay.
lot
I
of
was thinking, oh, right. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
really
no,
good.
I think that's quite difficult. So it is
Yeah.
quite difficult
Yeah.
to try an ad hoc to put in. Now we did actually have it in the old syllabus, but we took it out because but we had it in grade 8. I think
Yeah.
especially having it in grade 6, I think is hard. Is definitely hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's no, we don't do that.
Right. Okay. That's all. Thanks.
Perfect.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I've got one.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. Um, just a question on the resources. Does it include recordings of all the tunes?
On the website, is it?
Yeah,
There's recordings of some tunes up there. The more kind of lesser known kind of tune types
yeah.
are up there at the moment. They're up there,
So,
and we're in the process of recording more
yeah.
to get up there. But if there's any other resources that you need or anything that you're thinking
Yeah.
specifically, we can certainly send them and get them done as soon as
So
possible.
just thinking the obvious, Slow Airs,
Yes. Yeah.
the most unpopular tune.
Exactly. Now I can send on a lots of different
Yeah.
resources that are available. Absolutely. Now slow
Okay.
airs I think are only in from grade 3, if I remember right. Up until that, it's just the airs. So the
Mhm.
like the little things like Neil na Law or those little things are absolutely fine up until then. And then what I'll do as well is there's easier slowers to start with, like Blind Mary and
Yeah.
things like that are very, very easy to start. So I can certainly put something together so I
Yeah.
can and send it
Okay.
over.
Thank you.
No bother.
Bye.
Have we any other questions?
Yeah, please. Just another quick one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just about it's also about resources. Just the mention of from a certain point, um, being asked about regional styles and things. Are there learning resources available for people to learn about them? Because um, I know some of our students, apart from going to FLARs, they don't really get to travel around an awful lot and learn about regional styles, and especially in Ireland, they might sort of gather an understanding of regional styles in the UK, but is there sort of an information resource for them to have a look at and try and learn about that?
That's really really good question. We don't have anything gathered. But it's all bits and pieces. And so I think what I'll do is I can pull together kind of like a document of, where you can find the information and maybe the different musicians who are kind of in those regions. I can put them together so that they
Yeah.
can listen and learn at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be if they could hear a little sort of
yeah.
example of the kind of styles that are included, or features of those regional styles. That'd be really useful. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. And there's only like maybe even 4 or 5, like even just to look into. You're literally talking about maybe you're talking about Donegal, you're talking about Slieve Lucra, and then
Yeah.
maybe North Connacht, just those main regional ones. So you don't need
Yeah.
to get into, yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely, you can certainly pull that together.
Oh, great. Thank you.
No problem.
I had one actually come through on an email before tonight from someone who couldn't actually make tonight. They were asking, can they do these exams in singing yet? Or if I couldn't see
No,
that on the syllabus, right?
no,
Are
we
there any
don't have
plans
singing.
to do that? Or
Yeah, and I know that the Scrúdú Ceol have considered that before, because we were thinking of having even singing as part of the TTCT as well. It's been able to, they see the issue with singing is that there wouldn't be as vast amount of the differences between songs of trying to get a whole grade 1 right through to grade 8, if that makes sense. We definitely, it is certainly in the pipeline. It's but just not at the moment.
okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the
Can I
yes?
ask something quickly? Hi.
Yeah.
Would we have to do them all online, or if there was a large amount of people in a certain area, would someone come over to do the exams, or is it all online? How would it work?
Oh, we will certainly facilitate both if there is, even if there's a handful of people, especially just to get it started off. If you want to put a centre, we will certainly come over and do that. So we will.
And would we have to provide like the venue and all, like the way you would for the London College if you want to do your own? Would we have to provide a venue and stuff like that?
We do that side of things too. The administration provides it. If you give us an area of where you want to be, we can, and you can even suggest to us if you have ideas, again, because we wouldn't know,
Yeah.
if you can suggest stuff to them. But all of that admin side of stuff is done in head office.
And sorry, last one. Would we have to pay for like examiner to come, or would that kind of be funded by Kyoto's already? How, I don't know how it would work.
Oh yeah, that's totally funded by quotas and the SCT. The only thing that you would ever have to pay for is the child paying for the actual exam.
Okay.
Everything else is covered in head office.
Okay, perfect. All right. So last one, sorry. So say if we had an entry, like, would we have to give you, would there be like, do you need a time frame? Obviously, because we'd need to know that kind of thing. I know it hasn't been done before, so we don't know the answer really.
Absolutely, but the closing for the applications is usually the 31st of January. But we can certainly, again, because this is new for yourselves, and I know
Yeah.
you're promoting it and trying to get, like, we can certainly push that out another month if you needed it. Do you know, we normally do the exam time around between the end of March and the end of June. And again, if you want to push that out again, we can certainly do that too.
I think maybe John might do it first, and then I'll copy him. Thank you.
Not a bother. And just to say as well, when you're actually applying for the exams, if you're going into, again, all of this is in the cotas.ie. You can go into SCT exams and then just apply online. And you'll see it's just overseas at the moment. We just left it open because a lot of venues are there, but I know we won't know about venues or who wants to do online until the applications have actually come in. So if you're putting in applications, just literally go into overseas and click and off you go. That's where the entries are.
I was just wondering, here in Liverpool, one of the things that we're really interested in this for is because we have a difficulty with the parents sort of taking the kids' attainment seriously.
Yeah.
And we've got like a really lovely community dynamic here, where all the parents are bringing their kids, and it's a relatively fresh intake. There's loads of beginner children, and we're stuck in this sort of Groundhog Day where they're not practicing when they go home. They pick up the instrument only on the night that they're there. So we see this as a really useful tool for making the parents take this seriously. But one thing that I know we're going to be up against is trying to sell the idea to them, So I was wondering if you had any like sort of literature targeted to the parents that might be useful to us.
Yeah, we don't at the moment. And again, great question. We can definitely put something together for you. Yeah, because it's the same over here. I know we've had it for a lot longer, but I know whenever I started myself and trying to get the teachers on board, no, sorry, the parents on board can be difficult, but I think that the great thing about it is, like you said, it's something, it's a focus, you know, and it's just themselves an examiner, you know, because, you know, the whole performance kind of thing for kids, some people just don't do competition, you know, so
Yeah.
and I think it's important to have some other focus on it, you know, and yeah, no, we've found like it's been great. So it has for
I think all the teachers are sold on the idea with the syllabus and everything, but presenting the syllabus to the parents, I think is probably a more scary thing for them. And I
yeah,
think it would be great if there was something a bit gentle to sort of coax them into the idea.
yeah,
Definitely, it's going to help us a lot.
perfect, brilliant. Yeah, no, I can definitely put that together, so I can for you.
Thank you.
Fiona, have you got a question?
Hi, yes, I have, please. Thank you. Hi, Magella.
Hi, Fiona.
Long time no see. Since my UL days.
I know.
Yeah. Just a quick question. Oh, yeah. Will you share the slides, please?
Absolutely, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, for the higher grades for the assignments, is there example of assignments that you could give, or
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, that would be great, please.
Absolutely, no problem. And again, it's very, very, and it's not, we're not looking about, you know, well constructed essays, you know, we're not looking at that
Yeah,
whatsoever. It's just literally them being able to put their own words kind of around what they're listening to, you know. So,
yeah,
but yeah, absolutely, I can send on some of those.
fabulous. And oh yeah, for the performance diploma, you said you have to be you have to have distinction, is it, in grade 8?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay,
yeah. Um,
okay.
because we find that because we didn't have it for quite some time, and it's very difficult on a student that just doesn't have that technical level, you know, for that performance, and
Yeah,
it's a lot to go. It's a lot to go through. It's a big exam, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why we go for that.
Is that the same exam that was connected to Brew and Cashel, or is that different,
That's
you know,
right.
years
Yeah,
ago? Is it the
yeah,
same one? Yeah,
yeah.
okay. And is there a way, just wondering for myself, is there a way, like I have TTCT, like can you actually do performance
Of
diploma?
course you can. Of course you can.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So.
without having done as a teacher, without having done your grade 8.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. The TCT and
Yeah.
grade 8 are pretty much equivalent, so there'll be no problem doing that.
Okay,
Definitely.
and you just have to apply, I guess, through SCT is, yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
interesting. Okay. Yeah. Thanks a million.
Not a
Good to
bother.
see
Not a
you.
bother.
Thank
You
you. Yeah.
too. You too.
Thank you.
Sorry, one last one.
Yeah,
Last one,
yeah.
promise. Can you start at any grade, or do you have to go
No,
like from 1 up to 8?
you can start anywhere. You can start and you can skip. Now, and I always say, especially as a teacher, I would always try to figure out where a student could start in and maybe take a grade lower, because if they go in and it's a little difficult, it could be maybe a bad experience for them, you know. And but if they take the lower one and they come out, they do a really good exam, you can always skip the next one and move to the following one. I always kind of take the approach of trying to, you know, be easy as they go in, you know.
Just one thing I'd like to just mention is when I was doing my A levels and GCSEs, there's part of it you have to do performance, and I would have loved to have had this syllabus back then to be able to prove to my music teacher at school, who didn't know anything about traditional Irish music, that certain pieces were at a certain grade level. Because when you're doing your GCSE, you have to, I think, do about a grade 4 piece. When you're then doing your A levels, you have to do a grade 6 or 7 piece. So to have this written down and go to like your classroom music teacher and say this is at this level for that, it's a great resource to have to back up that as well. So if you have any pupils who are studying for GCSEs or A levels that are doing performance at school, it's a good resource to sort of back that up. Have we got any other questions? Oh, I just want to say that's been an absolutely lovely and great questions. Some really great questions there at the end. It's really great to sort of hear other people's opinions of how they're going to use it. And it's been really great to make contact with a lot of you as well. I don't think I've met all of you in person, but we can, yeah, if any of you ever need any help or guidance with any of this, please do reach out to Paddy's here as well. Myself and Margella's, we're only an email away or a telephone call away, because we are very keen to get the exams established over here. And as Colette brought up earlier, having centres, I mean, we'd love in the future to have a regular centre across the country, but as Margella said, we can just set them up ad hoc, you know, for next year, if that is what you want to do. I mean, what were you saying? Maybe about like half a dozen would be
Absolutely.
enough?
Even if there was, look, even if there's 3 or 4, just to get it off the ground, there'd be no problem, you know. There's a lot of us who are really, are really hoping that this, opens up over for you, because I know you've been battling so many years and it's hard to compete with the London College of Music for when you don't have the points, but we're really behind you all and want to support as much as we possibly can. And if you only have a small number, no problem, we'll get it sorted.
That's great.
The exam centres there, and that's maybe something that each of the regions can look at.
Yes, definitely.
Centering those.
Yeah, that's definitely.
He says, giving himself some
yeah.
work.
Well wanted, that job.
Thanks.
But yeah, that would be a great aim. That it makes. But as Marjorie said, if it's enough there's no reason why each branch can't be a centre and have a. I mean, could you just say what sort of venue you would need for an exam, if those that are not familiar with the
a lot of the venues we use over here at the moment, like obviously we do use some of the COTA centres, but we get a hotel and get a small conference room is what we use. Again, if you have a hall, literally all we need is a room with a table, a couple of chairs, and a toilet, and maybe that's literally all we need.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, any last minute questions to jump in? No? Well, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Margella for that, because that was very informative, and I hope you'll take that back to your branches, take that into your teaching. But yeah, as I say, please do just ping an email or anything. We are absolutely what we don't know the answers to, we will find the answers to, and as Margella said, the resources will be made as well to support it. So thank you all very much for coming, and hope you have a lovely Christmas if you're off on your Christmas breaks and things now. We'll see you soon.